Welcome to another unfinished project with Bike World. This is our 1960s Raleigh Wisp. Now the Raleigh Wisp was a little bit of an oddity. In the 60s there were a bunch of different mopeds you could buy which were essentially a bicycle frame with a moped engine chucked on the bottom of it. The Wisp was kind of their funky, choppery, slightly different looking one. It was actually advertised by Twiggy back in the day, whoever that is. Funky little thing, a little bit choppery styling. I got given a bunch of mopeds recently and this was in the stash. So we figured it was high time we got it out and ran it. Now you might remember a few months back we were supposed to be filming something else and we got distracted and found this in the garage and decided to start working on it and failed miserably to make it run. I spent a long time pedaling up and down the driveway and going nowhere. Millions of people watched that video and have mocked me mercilessly since for my lack of fitness or the ability to get it running. So we've pulled it back out of the shed and today we're going to give it a pair of tubes, new spark plug, a little bit of a service and a tune-up and hopefully take it for a spin. When you get up close, it's really obvious just how much of a bicycle this thing really is. As soon as you start taking it apart, it's actually pedalable. They don't need the engine. So there's a little lever just on the side of this cover here. And you flick that one way and it completely disengages the rear drive so you can pedal it without turning the engine over. And then you flip the lever around and the little gear clicks in and it turns the engine over as you pedal then, which obviously makes it a bit harder to pedal, but that's what then starts the engine. That's instead of a kickstart. So there's two chain drives, one either side, one for the motorcycle engine, one for the bicycle pedals. And then yeah, this little engine that's literally just lashed on a bracket to the bottom of the frame. It's so simple. This particular one's pretty interesting because as far as I can see, it's very unmolested. It's all kind of fairly original. It's got quite a nice patina to it as well, just a little bit of surface rusting. So I'm kind of keen to not disturb too much of it. So I'm going to try and get it running with as little effort and new parts as possible and just kind of leave it be. Someone said it's taken a long time for it to look this cool. Let's not ruin that by painting it. So big challenge is to get it running. We're going to get the carb off, give the carb a clean. The engine does turn over, so it's not seized and it's got decent compression. So all you need is compression, fuel and a spark. It should run, he says, with optimism. I'm sure I'm teaching a lot of people to suck eggs here, but obviously with any old motorcycle, the first thing to sort out is the fuel tank. That will always be stinking and full of all sorts of weird gook and junk, which will immediately fill the carburetor back up that you've just cleaned. So the quick way of getting them running is to just have a separate little can and a bit of fuel pipe. The better way is to give this a proper swill out. If you can do something to get rid of the rust on the inside by filling it with nuts and bolts and shaking it, more the better. And the other biggest thing then is to put a little inline fuel filter in so that any crap that is in the tank gets caught by the fuel filter before it ends up inside that carburetor that we're going to clean in a minute. It's not all glamour and glitz with Bike World. We do get to ride plenty of very fancy bikes in plenty of very fancy places, but the truth is most of the time is spent in a garage, freezing cold, tinkering with old junk like this. Oh, I'm glad I bought a new spark plug. That one looks absolutely mint. Never mind, we'll fit a new one anyway. I was quite pleased with this. This was a good eBay haul. I could have just bought the standard whatever spark plug, but I found a new old stock spark plug. Look at the packaging on that. I reckon that's got to be... It's got to be 30 years old, that packaging, hasn't it? Be a travesty to open it and put it in, won't it? Haha. Sorry, internet. Looks good to me. That is a carburetor, apparently. Look at it. I'm just going to keep taking things apart, cleaning them, and putting it back together as I found it. That's my strategy. Ugh. I'm going to say that might be part of the reason it wasn't running. That is gross. Ugh. Ugh. Look at the state of that. Running mystery solved. We have spark. We have spark. We seem to have fuel. Murky. Murky fuel of questionable origin. Hey! Well, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. It's so cute! She's not too loud. I don't know if you can hear the shock in my voice after the amount of time I spent pedalling this up and down the flaming driveway last time. I was not optimistic in it going running, but not only does it live, it's not pouring fuel out. There's a little bit of a drip on the bottom of that float bowl there, but given that we didn't have any new seals or gaskets, it's not got a puddle of fuel underneath it on the floor. I am really pleased about that. Hopefully we can get that stopcock working, and then I can plumb in the standard fuel tank and we can put an air cleaner on, take it for a ride. But I'm calling that a working motorcycle. Let's do it again. Oh, piece of cake. My favourite bit is it doesn't have an electronic kill switch. It has this cable on the throttle, basically goes down to essentially a hole in the head. And when you shut the throttle all the way, it takes all the compression and kills the engine. So that's an awesome step for the Raleigh Wisp today. Next job is to sort the fuel tank and the fuel line out, get some brake cables on it, and new inner tubes. We've gone full circle, haven't we? We've gone for the massive range of bikes. We started with the KTM rally bike, and now it's a Raleigh Wisp. Let's see what we did there. Well, one's got 120 horsepower and is mental, and one's got about 1 horsepower. But it's brilliant nonetheless. Motorbikes are awesome.